It's almost Thanksgiving, and I want to show you two side dishes today that I think you'll love for your Thanksgiving table. Both of them, I will confess, are adapted from Half Baked Harvest. I love her recipes, and I think they're always beautiful and they're always delicious. So this is kind of a little spin on the Half Baked Harvest recipe for both recipes. The first recipe is a roasted acorn squash, and the second is a shredded Brussels sprout salad. So let's get started. So the first recipe that I want to share with you today is a roasted acorn squash, and it's served with burrata cheese, a little bit of sage, pomegranate seeds, and it is absolutely delicious. So I have roasted 3 small butternut squash, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did. I cut them into wedges, so I cut them each into 6 pieces, and then I took 6 tablespoons of butter, and this is combined with 2 tablespoons of brown sugar and about just a generous tablespoon of honey, and then I add about a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. I like it spicy. I think the spice and the sweet really gives it a great flavor and makes it more interesting. And so I'm going to cover this and melt it in the microwave. And then I just poured it over the butternut squash, generously salt and pepper, and then it's roasted for about 20 minutes. And it comes out looking like this. And while it was cooking, I just took my spatula and I would drizzle what was dripping off of the acorn squash back onto it, and so it just has this beautiful color to it. And then from here, I'm going to put these on a serving dish, and you can arrange them artfully. This is so delicious, and it makes a beautiful presentation. Anything with burrata, for me, is something that I'm going to love. And I think this is a really unusual side dish, and that your guests will just be wowed with your presentation, first of all. And it's healthy and delicious and easy, which is important on Thanksgiving. And this is just as good served room temperature as it is served hot. So from here, I'm going to take my burrata cheese, and I have 3 balls of this burrata cheese. And I'm going to take one of them and break it up. So it's going to be just in little blobs, kind of on the squash. So it gets all melty and delicious. And then the second 2, I'm just going to nestle right into the squash. Then I'm going to add pomegranate seeds, and you can use as many or as few as you like. It adds a really nice crunch, a little bit of kind of a bitter sweetness to it. Pomegranate seeds are delicious, but they're not really that sweet, so it's a nice balance to the honey and brown sugar that's added to the butter. And then sprinkle a few, these are toasted and salted pecans, and I always toast my nuts in the microwave. So I laid the nuts on a paper towel, sprinkle them with salt, and just go in about 30 or 40-second increments until I can smell the nuts and they're just nice and toasted. So the nuts get sprinkled on top of the burrata and the acorn squash. And then I do not have fresh sage because it's raining and I didn't go cut it. So I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of dried sage on top for flavor and to make it pretty, with just a few more flakes of red pepper. And there you have a really, really easy but very beautiful side dish for Thanksgiving. For the second recipe, I'm going to make a Brussels sprout salad, and I made this Friday night to try it out because I saw it and it just looks so delicious, and I ate almost all of it by myself, and it's really great leftover. So it's a great thing to make even the day before for Thanksgiving. And the recipe originally called for pre-shredded Brussels sprouts. I could not find them in the grocery store, so I just used my food processor. And in this bowl, I have about 6 or 7 cups of shredded Brussels sprouts, and they are raw. And to this, I'm going to add some really tasty ingredients. So I fried about 6 pieces of bacon, and you can use more or less, however you like it. I like a lot of bacon. I think it adds flavor. So I took the bacon and I cut it into pieces. And into the pan with the bacon grease, I have about 4 shallots. And I've sauteed them until they are soft, and you can see how beautiful they are. They're getting a little caramelized and they just look delicious. So to this, I'm going to add apple cider vinegar, a little bit of hot pepper jelly, the grated rind of 1 orange, and then we'll make the salad. So turn the heat up just a little bit. Add the apple cider vinegar. And I'm just going to add a big spoonful, you could say a little bit more than a tablespoonful of hot red pepper jelly. Going to let that melt. And then to that, I'm going to add the zest of 1 orange. And this makes kind of a sweet, spicy, really tasty vinaigrette that's going to coat the Brussels sprouts, and it's going to be delicious. So I'm going to turn the heat off. Pour this over my shredded Brussels sprouts. Make sure everything's good and mixed up. This smells so good. Then I'm going to mix that all together. Be patient, it takes a few minutes, and the Brussels sprouts start to wilt a little bit, but they still have some crunch to them. So that makes it really a nice dish to serve alongside of all the other kind of mushy Thanksgiving dishes like the casseroles and the gravy. I think this makes a really nice complement to all of that. And then to this, I'll add most of the bacon. I want to save a little bit to garnish the top. About 1.5 cups of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. And so I'm just going to use my hands. I think that looks like about 1.5 cups. I'm going to add about 1/2 cup of toasted salted pecans. You could use hazelnuts or almonds, any kind of nut that you like. Just make sure it's toasted and salted. I'm going to add about 1 cup of pomegranate seeds. Again, save a few for garnish for the top, and mix that all together. And I think it's nice to add just a little splash more of olive oil. You could also just add it at the beginning, put it in your skillet. If it seems dry. If it doesn't, just taste and adjust. And then so I'm going to add about 1.5 teaspoons of additional salt and a good grind of freshly ground black pepper. Give it one more stir. Then I'm going to put it on this beautiful platter. And you can see how pretty it is, and it just smells delicious. So just pile it up and then garnish it with a little bit of additional bacon and a few more pomegranate seeds. This is a really nice twist on Brussels sprouts for Thanksgiving. So today we've made a shredded Brussels sprout salad with a warm bacon vinaigrette, and we've made roasted acorn squash with burrata, and they're both great sides for Thanksgiving. They're beautiful. I think your guests will love them. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to link all the tools that I used to make this, my outfit, and the recipes will be printable on Crazy Blonde Life. Thanks so much for watching.